So, federal employees who accepted Donald Trump's buyout are now finding out that the buyout is being terminated along with their jobs. It's, once again, it's almost like people kept trying to tell you not to trust anybody in this administration, especially the muskrat. He did the exact same thing. He did the exact same thing with the exact same email when he took over Twitter and turned it into X. He told people who work there they can accept a buyout, they will get paid for a few months, and then they will have time to find a new place to work. They did not come back, took his little buyout, immediately he cut them off. And a lot of those people who it happened to warned federal employees not to do it. Now, the vast majority said no, and now we're seeing layoffs happen in other ways. But those layoffs can be defended by Congress. They can be argued to be rescinded, and those people could potentially get their jobs back. The ones who accepted the buyout are asked out. What were you thinking? It is not just liberal propaganda that people are telling you not to trust Elon Musk, not to trust Donald Trump at a time like this. They are making decisions based off of what can put more money back into their pockets. They're not making decisions that will put money back into ours. Every single time they come to you and say, hey, why don't you trust me? And you say yes, they screw you over. But people keep doing it. People keep falling for the BS. At some point, people need to realize that they are not going to change. So it is up to us to be smarter than the idiots running this government.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I hope you're doing fine where you are, Africans and black people. I hope you're doing fine where you are. Also, anyone who is non-black, how are you doing where you are? So we have this thing MAGA and we have this thing FAFO. MAGA means Make America Great Again, but at what cost? And then we have the FAFO. FAFO is F around and find out. It's just basically you make a bad choice, you live with a bad choice. You live with a bad choice in terms of making America great again. There is a proverb that says, in the pursuit of success, sometimes you might be catalyzing your failures. You might be rising too fast, thinking that I'm going to my destination, but you are arriving to a dead end. Yeah. Sometimes the pursuit of success can be a catalyst to failure. I was once told that, and now I share with you. Now let's talk about these MAGA and FAFO and how they are influencing and how they are causing many people to lose their jobs. Even those people we thought would never lose their jobs are now losing their jobs. Here it is. The rise of the Make America Great Again MAGA movement and its intersection with the FAFO. I won't name it. I'll just say FAFO. You know what FAFO means? This mentality in the United States has sparked significant political, economic, and social consequences. This is what we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss how MAGA and FAFO movements are their implication on the job market, and how certain voting patterns have inadvertently contributed to job losses, particularly among white working class. Yes, those people whom we thought would never lose their jobs, white people are now losing their jobs under this MAGA and FAFO thing. There's a series of videos I want us to watch. Let's watch them. I shall get back and I shall discuss further this MAGA and FAFO thing. Let's dive in.
Donald Trump just spoke words that I never thought I would ever hear a president say. Well, he didn't speak them. He put them out on Truth Social like he normally does. He who saves his country does not violate any law. And here it is for you, right there. He who saves his country does not violate any law. Now, these are the words of an authoritarian dictator. See, he's putting himself above anybody else in the country. He's saying that nobody can contain him, that he won't follow the orders of judges, that he won't do what Congress tells him to do, because he can't break a law. So if he can't break a law, then nobody can have him obey the law. So Donald Trump has just straight up said he doesn't care. He's going to do what he wants. He's going to violate the Constitution. He's going to violate any agreements or laws that he wants to, because he thinks he's saving the country, all while destroying it.
I might lose my farm because of the government.
I'm going to start this video off by saying that this video is not made for everybody. But this video is made for everybody to listen to understand that what I'm about to talk about is actual implications of what is happening right now in the office of Donald Trump and the administration that he's in, including Elon Musk, meddle in whatever Elon Musk is meddling in. This is a reminder that this is a billionaire and a fake millionaire meddling in our federal government and our funding. You understand this, right? I don't care who you are. If you are a billionaire, that means you are good at taking money out of everyone else's pockets and putting it in your own. And we're going to learn a lesson here, because today we're going to talk about how old McMAGA lost his farm. EI, oh my fucking God, how are we all fucking worried about this right now when we're all fucking so dumb that we voted for this to fucking happen? I'm just going to be fucking real with you all. You all need to understand that we voted as Americans to have what's happening right now. And for a farmer to jump on his fucking TikTok here and start complaining about the federal government not going through a contract with him without blaming Donald Trump himself, who cut the funding at the beginning of February, and we're going to talk about all of that here. So if you are a Donald Trump supporter and you happen to enjoy my notebooks, or you watch my page, or you want to think, this is probably going to offend you, but this is actual facts and evidence that I need you all to hear, because I never put out a notebook without facts and evidence. So let's get into it. All right, today we're talking about the Cattleman Family Farms, because the Cattleman Family Farms is a farm owner who is on government assistance, who is a proud Trump supporter, who obviously didn't read anything about Project 2025. He celebrates Donald Trump taking office, and within a month, he's already lost funding. You hear that? He has already lost funding on his farm because he is on government assistance. Something that he probably at one point in his life bitched about how some people shouldn't be on government assistance and they should be raised up by their bootstraps and get working. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of work to do, my friend, because your farm's about to go under. That's right. So what is he talking about? He's complaining so much about this farming thing? Well, he's talking about the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. What was the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022? Joe Biden signed it in, so it must have been bad, yeah. Because it was signed into law by Joe Biden, and the tiebreaker came from Kamala Harris. She stood up there because not one Republican voted to support this bill. Not one Republican voted to sign the bill that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tied, that this farmer is now whining about. So sad, my farm's going under because Joe Biden gave me federal assistance. Anyway, what this did is it gave $19.5 billion to farming and agriculture to save the inflation that was happening to America. Do you hear that? Donald Trump doesn't care about your eggs and your prices of your eggs because he cut the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. Oh, that's right, because Joe Biden signed it into law, so it must have been so bad. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. All right, wait. Trump loves America. He would never. Well, in February of 2025, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced that a freeze on the federal funding and potential cuts to this program. Reuters actually named Skylar Holden in the article about the uncertainty of the future of the farmers. Democratic lawmakers are currently fighting because they don't want the rug pulled out from underneath our farmers because of this budget cut from Donald. How? The Democrats? No, they would never. The Democrats hate America. Democrats never want to make America great. Shut the fuck up. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's how fucking straightforward I am with you people. Shut the fuck up. Okay? The freeze directly affects the IRA, which supports climate-smart agriculture, reducing sustainable farming habits from small and large farms across our country. Wow, holy shit. You mean this bill actually did stuff for America and we didn't care about it that much? But wait, there's more. What are the negative effects of what this has happened so far? Well, trade wars have been going on, so retaliatory tariffs directly affect agricultural pockets, significantly dropping in exports. Lost soybean market. Did you guys know that China is the largest buyer of our soybean products? And because of Donald Trump and his little, I'm going to tariffs on everyone, and that's what we're going to do to make America great again, we have now lost soybean farming sales because of that, because China's like, fuck you, we'll go somewhere else. Wow, we're that stupid. Anyway, bailouts. They supported the big farms like Purdue and all those ones that inject all those antibiotics that all of you guys say that RFK is going to stop us doing. Well, guess what? Here's a surprise for you all. The bailouts that Donald Trump gave actually only helped the farmers that use those antibiotics and didn't help the little farmers. All it did was fuck them. Repeat after me. Fuck them. Anyway, immigration. We all know what's going on right now. There is a labor shortage. Because we want to go after all the hardworking non-Americans that came over here and they're trying to look for freedom and all that powerful stuff that we say that America's so great about. No, we care more about cracking down on the orange people that go out and pick the oranges in Florida as opposed to going for the actual people that are, going into our fucking government spending and going behind fucking lines where they don't have government clearance, so they weren't voted in by the people to go affect with all of our money and fuck with our funding. How are you people so fucking mad about immigrants and not mad about Elon Musk? I will never Oh, that's because it's a fucking cult. And that's it. And that's why we're wearing pink bathrobe, because my cult will follow me too, right? Fucking Jesus Christ. All right, so we cracked down on the illegal immigrants. We have visa delays for people that are actually trying to get visas from the country so they can stay here to do the farming and the labor that we need them to do so we can actually get fruits and vegetables and all that shit that's happening all around the agricultural community. But no, we're delaying those visas because we don't like immigrants. Climate rollback, so we have rollback to all the conservation programs that are stopping us from using, environmental friendly shit in the agriculture community, which I don't know much about, but we do need to make cuts about that. But he contacted his representative. Well, let's talk about Ann Wagner. Ann Wagner is the representative that he cut, and guess what? She voted against giving him the bill. Ann Wagner voted against it. Ann Wagner also has a net worth of $11 million when her state GDP is $61,000. She has a net worth of $11 million while her net GDP in her fucking $61,000. These are the people you're voting into office because none of you guys do research on anything. You guys are voting little millionaires in to control your fucking funding. She's also a member of the Financial Services Committee in the House, so that means she looks over all the stuff with the spending and all that, so I'm sure that's not going to be a problem for her. Oh, and again, one more time, she voted against the bill that supports the fucking farmers that this guy's all upset about. So give Ann Wagner a call. That seems like a great idea. Well, anyway. And last but not least, guys, I just wanted to let you guys know that there's a couple of jobs that he can now apply for, okay? You can always be a grifter on TikTok. There's a farmer on here. He's been doing this for a while. The Family Farm, what's their name there? The one that beats his girlfriend and does all that stuff and lives in motel rooms. He's a famous farming grifter. You can do that, okay? Well, we also are going to have lots of jobs open as fruit pickers and laborers at the farms down the street that actually didn't lose their funding because they're probably Purdue and all that. You can go apply there because I'm sure they're going to need some help there. You can go work at McDonald's because that's always an option. That's what we tell everyone else to do, right? Go work at McDonald's. You can do Uber and Uber Eats. I'm not sure if you just have a tractor, if you actually have a car or not, but you can use that car to actually do something with it. Or you can run for office and make a fucking change. Because people like you are going to yell about MAGA and how much you support it, but then you're going to stand on your fucking TikTok and you're going to cry that you're losing funding. That's because you supported MAGA. We have a lot more of this shit coming down the pipeline right now that's going to hurt a lot more than just our agriculture and our farming. And all of you guys want to yell on your platforms about how he's going to go after egg prices and inflation. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, in the last 2 weeks here in Florida, egg prices have gone up $1.20. 2 weeks. since February 1st. We have now gone up $1.20 in egg prices. What more do people have to tell you guys that it's not all about the Make America Great Again for him? It's not about you and I. It's all about him and his own and what power he can get. And you guys are giving it to him every fucking day. Congratulations.
I warned you. I told you. This is why you don't vote for Republicans to run anything. You don't want them running the House. You don't want them running the Senate. You certainly don't want them in the White House. And this is the exact reason why. They have no real interest in getting anything done. Not having the government funded means no checks for millions of people across the country. And it could be devastating. But right now, a lot of people voted for really, really rich people to get into the White House and get in position of power, and they don't care one bit. They've got tons of money. Nothing that they do affects them. It affects you. But yeah, you decided to let rich people decide your fate. And now you're about to find out what happens when you do that. Especially Republicans that don't care, because they have billions and billions of dollars. If they cared about people, you would see them helping people every day. They would be going from city to city, establishing homes and networks for the homeless to get rid of homelessness. These few billionaires that are in Washington right now could literally get rid of homelessness if they wanted to. They don't want to. What they want to do is make more money. And you that needs money and depends on money, it's just not that important. You effed around, and now you're going to find out. Like and follow for more.
I need your help to save my farm and many other farms.
Donald Trump specifically said he was going to go after low-hanging fruit. You just didn't think you were low-hanging fruit, and it turns out you are. And now you have entered into a contract with the government where you agreed to do a bunch of work and they were going to reimburse you for it to improve your farmland for future generations. The Inflation Reduction Act gave you that opportunity, and you took it. I would have too. And now the man who's known for going back on contracts and refusing to pay for work that's already been done is doing that to you, the man you voted for. So you were fine when he was talking about removing the civil rights of women and trans people, trampling on the freedoms of immigrants. You were fine with that because it wasn't going to affect you. And you didn't believe that they were going to implement Project 2025. In fact, maybe you didn't read it because pages 294 through 310 talked specifically about how they were going to fuck you. Either you didn't believe it, you didn't take the time to read it, or you just thought everybody that was complaining about Trump and his plans and his policies were just being crybabies? Or maybe you thought those people deserved what was going to happen to them. I don't know. But now it's happening to you. And so I would think that right now is a good time for you to admit that you were wrong and maybe apologize. Because there are a lot of people that are going to be hurt by the things that you voted for and cheered on. And now you're one of them. And I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry that's happening to you. I don't wish it on you. But I do hope that you have the courage to say I was wrong and this guy's a piece of shit. Imagine the type of coalition we could build if people had the courage to admit they were wrong and join hands with the people who were scared originally. We might be able to do something about that.
I think what I don't understand is when people are like, oh, they're finding out, they're in the find out stage. Those people are children. Like the people who are most impacted by this legislation, like the Department of Education crumbling before our eyes, they're children. And they are children in some of like the most impoverished places in America. We're talking about like impoverished Mississippi school children are going to be the people finding out. And like, why is that something to be gleeful about? Like, it's really connected to carceral thinking, right? Like the desire for retribution is so strong that we would like to like dance around and be like, they're finding out, ha 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 ha, and just ignore, put blinders on, ignore the fact that the people finding out are the most vulnerable, the people that the left purports to care about, right? Finding out is bad for everyone. Everyone finding out is bad. Like, yes, we want people to intellectually understand that the choices they made led to suffering, obviously. But it shouldn't be that we should be happy that they are suffering, especially when those people are the most vulnerable.
It finally happened. It finally happened. I saw propaganda in real time. So let me explain. People ran around saying the reason they voted a certain way was for a better economy, for cheaper gas and groceries. They have to have that. They aren't doing well. They need cheaper gas and groceries. But now, people who will be making the same exact amount of money, who aren't going to be doing any better, are now running around saying, I am okay with paying more money for gas and groceries because the more money I'm paying goes to protecting the border. And unfortunately, that's not true. Really, all you're doing is paying more money for the same product. You have just increased the product. The extra money you are spending is going to buy the product. It's not going to anything else because they've increased the price of the product through tariffs. Like, honestly, it's probably not even me worth saying that to begin with, because the people who want to justify this will always justify it, and they're not listening to this, so I shouldn't have even bothered explaining what's happening, but whatever. So this reminds me a lot of George Orwell's Animal Farm, where, they were like, our lives are miserable, we need to make a change. So they make a change, and then they end up being even more overworked, more hungry, and then they're like, we're more overworked, we're more hungry, and then the pigs are like, no, you're not. You're doing great. Like, life is better now. Don't you see how life is better? And then the animals are like, you're right, life is better. We are doing better. Life is so much better. We are doing better. Even though they were doing worse. And everyone who read that book was like, how do they not see it? How can they not see it? And the truth of the matter is they can't see it because they will use any amount of justification, any amount of thoughts, words to justify everything. They don't want to be reasoned with. They just want to think everything that is going on is true. They don't want to look into it. They don't want to figure it out. And that's really the truth of the matter, is the FAFO, it's not really going to work out to the people who actually need to find out, because they are justifying it for themselves. They will figure out any way to make it better. They'll be like, no, I'm so glad we're paying more money. Oh no, I am eating more. I am less hungry. I am whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because they are justifying anything and everything to make it so they're happy in their heads, because nothing.
President Trump did not betray you. You betrayed yourself. You lied to yourself to justify your decision to vote for a madman. And you didn't care about the things he said he would do, because you figured that would only hurt other people. But now that it's hurting you, you see the problem with it. But you was perfectly fine with him hurting other people. Anyway, it makes sense that they would want to erase Black and Native American history, because we're a constant stain on them, aren't we? A constant reminder that nothing they got here was earned. Everything they got was off the backs of others. Not only did they occupy the land that belonged to someone else, they didn't even do the work to build this bitch. And that's why they want to erase us. But you can never erase our history. Our history is global, baby. It goes beyond these states. And we will prevail as always. But those of you who voted for this shit and it backfired, I keep telling you, you reap what you sow. And what you wish for others is going to come right back on your ass. Fuck around, find out. Enjoy.
So after clearly listening to these brothers and sisters complain about Trump, his decision makings, and the situation of living in USA, I would like us to come and have a deeper understanding of this MAGA and FAFO movement. The MAGA movement, as I said earlier during the video, that MAGA means make America great again, and FAFO means you F around and you find out, you make bad decisions and you pay the consequences, basically. The MAGA movement emerged in 2016 as a populist rallying cry under former President Donald Trump. It was appealing primarily to conservatives, rural and working class Americans, It emphasized nationalism, economic protectionism, anti-immigration policies, and opposition to progressive social policies. The movement supporters largely believed in restoring what they saw as a lost American identity, particularly in relation to manufacturing jobs, family values, and traditional social structures. The FAFO slogan, which gained traction in social media and in right-wing circles, has embodied a more confrontational approach to political and social change. It suggests that those who oppose conservatives' ideal or take progressive stances will face consequences. In essence, it reflects the aggressive defiance of certain MAGA supporters towards liberal policies, government mandates, and social justice movement. So basically, Make America Great Again is being opposed by the FAFO. The FAFO people oppose the MAGAs. Basically, I believe they have their own reasons of doing so. These complaints we are listening to right now are enough reason to give the FAFO supporters enough reason to defy the American laws, So here we have the FAFO slogan. It gained traction in social media, and the MAGA gained traction in 2016 when Trump became his first term into becoming the president. MAGA promised job growth, and it also promised economic revitalization. Many working class, white people, black people, the Latinos, the Venezuelans, the Arabs, especially in industries like manufacturing, coal mining, and agriculture, have found themselves struggling due to the very policies they supported. This phenomenon aligns with the FAFO concept, where their own political choices have led to their own unintended negative consequences. Yeah. So let's dive deeper into this. The economic consequences of MAGA policies. The first one is trade wars and job losses. One of the defining economic policies of the Trump administration was the imposition of tariffs on Chinese goods, intended to reduce trade deficits and bring back manufacturing jobs to America. However, these tariffs triggered retaliatory tariffs from China also, which directly impacted American farmers, manufacturers, and exporters. Many agricultural communities, strong supporters of MAGA, found themselves struggling as China cuts its imports of American soybeans, pork, and other goods. The US government had to provide billions in subsidies to farmers to offset the damage, but this was not a substantial or sustainable solution. Similarly, industries that relied on imported materials such as steel and aluminium faced higher cost due to tariffs, leading to layoffs in manufacturing, while some other plants saw a temporary resurgence. Overall, the trade war led to the net job losses rather than gains. Many blue-collar workers who had voted for Trump, expecting economic revitalization, found themselves unemployed or earning less due to economic policies. The second one is automation and outsourcing. You see, there was war in the trade sector. Now let's talk about automation and the outsourcing, The MAGA supporters focused heavily on immigration and trade policies. Automation and outsourcing remained the primary drivers of job displacement. Many white working classes voters expected manufacturing jobs to return, but instead corporations continued automating production lines and outsourcing to countries with lower labor cost. The shift to automation, while economically efficient, rendered many traditional jobs obsolete. The government focus on trade wars rather than workforce retaining or education that left many workers without the skill needed for modern jobs. The third one is anti-union and deregulatory policies. Historically, labor unions played a crucial role in securing higher wages, benefits, and job protection for American workers. However, the MAGA movement largely supported right-to-work laws which weakened unions and the FAFO effect, the unintended consequences of political choices. Many white working class and other races in America who supported MAGA policies believed that they were voting to protect their jobs and a way of life. However, the consequences of these policies have led to a significant economic struggle for the same communities that embraced them. The first one is this: corporate favoritism over workers. Despite promises to drain the swamp, the Trump administration largely favors corporate interests over workers. Tax cuts for the wealthy and deregulation benefited CEOs and large companies, but they did little to bring back sustainable jobs for the working class. In contrast, investment in worker retraining, education, and infrastructure key drives of job growth were largely neglected. The second is backlash from anti-immigration policies. Many MAGA supporters favored strict immigration policies, believing that reducing immigration would create more job opportunities for native-born Americans. However, industries such as agriculture, construction, and hospitality heavily rely on immigration labor. Crackdowns on undocumented workers led to labor shortages, increased costs of business, and in some cases, business closures. Many rural communities that depended on these industries suffered economically. The third reason why these people are complaining a much is declining rural and industrial communities. Rural America, which overwhelmingly, supported Trump, has continued to experience economic decline. Young people are leaving these areas in search for better opportunities, while older workers are left with few employment options. The promised resurgence of coal and manufacturing jobs never materialized, leaving many communities disillusioned and economically stagnant. That is a good reason to make someone regret their choices. Let's see further into this. The MAGA and the FAFO movement represent a complex blend of political defiance and economic nationalism. While many white working voters supported these movements in hopes of restoring traditional industries and economic stability, the policies they backed often had unintended negative consequences. Trade wars, automation, anti-union policies, and labor shortages have all contributed to job losses in many industries. The FAFO mentality suggests that people must face the consequences of their choices. In this case, many MAGA supporters are experiencing economic hardship as a result of the very policies they voted for. This phenomenon underscores the importance of critically analyzing political promises and understanding the long-term economic impacts of policies decisions. Moving forward, a focus on workforce development, education, and sustainable economic policies will be essential for revitalizing struggling communities and ensuring a stable job market for all Americans. Yeah. You F around, you find out. You pay the consequences of your unintended. You pay the consequences for your intended actions. Now the consequences are unintended, but you messed up because you are lied to. Trump lied to so many, and now so many people are regretting their choices. I hope you don't regret, and next time even Africans will be able to make better choices where they are. This is EFK Original Documentaries. If you like what I do, kindly subscribe. I will surely appreciate, and see you in the next one.